What's up, guys? Thank you for liking the live. I'm here. Just had to set up the live. We're just gonna do a simple update to this page. I'm gonna just do the outlines. For this panel right here. Thank you, Whoopsie Doo. What up, dude? How you doing? Welcome, R. Doing good. I like what you're working on. Thank you, dude. Yeah, this is a spin-off from my main comic, Demonation. This is called Demo Files, and it follows the journey of this vampire runaway from the vampire mafia called the Nostrafari family. And he runs away to this sunniest place in the story world called Los Diablos, and that's where he tries to make a new life for himself. But these Nostrafari mafia members, they pretty much come to haunt him from his past. They come to his new life and his new family, and essentially try to destroy it and use his new home as a beacon for as a production factory for these werebeasts that have been turning people into to sell into like the slave market. There's a whole thing to it. Thank you, bro. Yeah, it's a piece of a bigger world, right? This story is not the main one. The main story, that's where you'll kind of get a understanding better of how I set up the story world to tell this story and all the different moving parts. That one we gotta get to work on, actually. That's the priority one. So that's why I only like to update these different pieces that I'm working on for the art book, the data book, and for this spin-off series of the prequel. Thank you, konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. No, arigato. Arigato. I'm gonna have to read. Yeah, dude. Want to see the cover? For this, the spin-off, here's one of the cover options. So, the Nostrafari family used to be the servant family to the Dracules. The Dracules are really special bloodline of vampires that they're able to walk in the sun, and they don't have to eat humans, drink human blood to survive. Instead, actually, they can eat whatever, and they're extremely powerful. And when they eat the heart of a beast, something happens to them. Right? We're not gonna get into what happens, but essentially, the Dracules, out of fun, would hunt the other vampire families and pretty much enslaved their own kind and made them into servant families. But there was a coup d'etat in the previous generation before Zolt was in the picture, and what happened was, in that coup d'etat, the Dracules were wiped out, except Zolt's dad and Zolt's dad's brother, or Zolt's uncle, right? who we don't know about, right? Essentially, from there, the Dracules, what remained, became the servant family, and you know, his father had his whole family set up, everything, but he has this deep hatred for the Nostrafaris. He has this. He wants revenge, right? And so he goes and he ends up researching something he wasn't supposed to. He gets caught in the middle of it, and the Shadow Dawn that runs the Nostrafari family, he pretty much gives permission to this evil character right here, Leash. This guy right here, Leech, L-I-C-H-E, Nostrafari, to take out his family, to turn them into werebeasts and test out the Astra Lycaon, this special item, this weapon that houses the soul of this ancient werebeast king in the story named King Lycaon, right? Who's connected to humans, and there's a whole thing to that. But basically, King Lycaon, add the Astra Lycaon that he's trapped in, the Astra that he's trapped in now, it's a weapon, and Leash is testing it out on the Zolt as a little kid, his sister, and his mom, to punish the father, right? And this is actually Zolt's mom. She's been turned into a werebeast, and so her name is Claire, and Sophie. Claire is about to eat Zolt, and he's like completely traumatized, like what the hell is happening? And this is Leash, who's like pretending like it's an orchestra, right? Because he has this deep hatred for the Dracules because of the, you know, the history of how the Dracules hunted all these different families of the vampires and enslaved them, and so there's a deep ancient hatred. So there's a lot of revenge in this spin-off, and the theme of this entire thing is revenge. Zolt, he's about to get eaten by his own mother, who's been turned into a werebeast, and Leash has got the most, you know, gleeful smile. He's so infatuated, he's so warped into it. You'll see all these audience members over here, they're laughing hysterically because they're all Nostrafari family members in different family vampire families. And you see right here, you know, is framed so we see through the mouth of Claire, her werebeast form, getting closer and closer as Zol is realizing like there's no escape, and we have this mysterious character suddenly appear, and this is actually Zolt's father. He's gonna end up taking her out and saving his son by having to fight all these audience members that are all vampires. They're all Nostrafari and various family members of the different vampire families, and Leash. He has to fight all of them at the same time. And so that's what's coming. Let me see what else I can show you. It's not there. So we actually do follow Zolt though when he grows up after this whole thing, and he runs away from home after he finds out the truth. He runs away to Los Diablos City, where unfortunately, as he tries to start a new family and he tries to, you know, get over that PTSD, bro. He has nightmares all the time about this horrible experience. Leash, he ends up showing up in his life again, and this time he has a big surprise for him and his new friends of life, you know, that city, Los Diablos City. Okay, I think I'm gonna end right there. Yeah, so there's a whole thing with that and a blood moon event. Yeah, there's a whole thing. So these werebeasts, they end up so the Nostrafari family, the mafias, there's 4 different mafias. There's a goblin, demon, and hunter and vampire mafia in the story, right? And they are fighting with power with this world government called the Cloud, which is like a secret organization that's up in the clouds, right? So this is the story world. This is the basics of it. And essentially the Nostrafaris, how they make their money is through creating werebeasts and through a contract with the Cloud, pretty much imprisoning them and having a special technology that somehow is able to tame them and turn them into servants. And so that's kind of created this werebeast slave industrial complex in the story. It's not the major issue of the story world. It's just an issue. There's a lot of issues in this story world, and these these bastards, bro, they're making a shit ton of money off of these werebeast slaves. So I'm gonna end it there. I'm gonna keep spilling my guts out if I keep going, and I don't want to have a bad habit of that. So I'll be seeing you guys. Thank you so much for joining.